Hello guys. I'm going to talk about salt lamps, and here's this is generated by. I'm going to show you. This is mold, but I'll talk about later. So I'm going to read what they said about. I got this from. Let me see, where is it? WebMed. I'm sure you're familiar with WebMed, and so it says medically reviewed by Minesh Khatri, written by Stephanie Watson. So it was medically reviewed. So, well, anyways. So, I'm going to tell you really quickly what they said about salt lamps. It says that basically, is crystals carved from amber colored rock salt. So, they are usually Himalayan salt. Hollow out to fit a light bulb inside. Well, they're talking about the one you see here in the bedroom. You see the one in the bedroom? That one. They take a rock and they open a hole and they put a light bulb. But they said there's a lot of them that are fake. And it's hard for you to know if they're really fake. And they give you ways to know how you tell if it's fake. I had them, and I can probably give you a link to the Amazon where I got it. I have many of these like that, but they're very heavy. And so lately I have the ones that you see here, and there are little rocks in them. Now, with this, I would think is less likely to be fake than a big one, but you can tell. One of the ways that I knew was when I traveled to New York. Well, actually, I traveled around the country. I turned them off, and when I came back, all of them had a ring of salt around it. So that means that it was real salt, and it was absorbing the humidity in the house. And because it was off, it wasn't burning out the humidity. It was just absorbing it, because all of them had a ring. And I had like 6 of them. And I went through all of them and said, oh my God, look at the ring. It's a white ring of a lot of salt. So that means it was real salt. It was real Himalayan rock salt. And so it was absorbing it. I never saw that before, but I figured, it absorbed the humidity, but it didn't burn it out. So it just created a ring. So they say that, let me just see, something that I found there. It's a research that they did. So it says, okay, so basically it says it works in 2 ways. Pulling particles. These lamps supposedly attract allergens, toxins, and pollutants to their surface. So that's what they say, that it attracts allergens, toxins, all this stuff getting you in the air. Passively release negative ions. Some people believe negative ions in the air have health benefits. Ions are molecules that have undergone a change in charge. Negative ions have gained an electron. Positive ions have lost one. So they say, the way the medicals talk, they always, even if you're not a medical, you got to say like, supposedly, it might, consult a physician before. They always make you say that. So anyway, so it does, It says ions are all around us. Ions are all around us. Some come from particles from outer space that make their way to the Earth. Others form closer to home from radiation, sunlight, lightning, or the collision of water droplets in a waterfall. Some people say they feel more refreshed and clear-headed after a storm, a feeling they believe is due to the amount of negative ions in the air. Commercial ionizers and purification systems also produce negative charged ions to create cleaner and more comfortable indoor spaces. Himalayan salt lamps supposedly produce negatively charged ions, while water molecules from the air attract to and then evaporate from the warmth of its surface. And that's true because I just told you what I saw. I didn't even know they do that. It just, you just have common sense, oh, that's what it did. Okay, it says, those who believe in the health benefits of these lamps give negative ions much of the credit. So, mood and sleep. People said that positive ions in the air increase anxiety, crankiness, and other unpleasant feelings. They say that negative ions ease stress, anxiety, and depression, and improve overall well-being. Studies with mice and rats suggest that high amounts of negative air ions alter levels of serotonin, a chemical that contributes to feeling of well-being. In some human studies, negative ions at high concentrations did lessen depression slightly, but they didn't have much of any effect on anxiety levels or sleep. A very small study shows that people did better on thinking skills tests when they were in a room where the paint on the walls had a high concentration of total air ions, both positive and negative. But the paint had no effect on the general well-being. Okay, so blah, 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 blah. So now I'm going to give you my input on this. It says in here that in a couple of small studies on rats and mice, contact with a salt lamp had antidepressant and anti-anxiety effects. That doesn't mean the lamps would have the same effect on humans. Research would have to test the theory. Okay, so something is happening lately, and it's more and more and more and more obvious, and is making it impossible for people to not notice. And is, you may not be able to measure the air, but you can see in vegetables and fruits, basically produce. Produce seems to not last too long. They go really bad, sometimes within a day. I buy bananas, within a day they're bad. Now, granted, in the supermarket they have very bright lights, so that make it less, they can last longer. But when you bring it home, and if your house is not really bright, then, and depending where you live, these vegetables and fruits go bad. Sometimes I bring the banana home, in a day they're going bad already. And I'm not the only one. I asked a lot of people, and they said, somebody told me the other day that they put the vegetables and fruits in the windowsill to get the sun because they'll go bad immediately. I noticed that in the supermarket now they cover it with plastic. They're basically sealed in a plastic thing. Anyways, so I decided, you know what? I make my own. Actually, I came up with my own theory. Too many chemtrails. And chemtrails cause everything to be dark, right? We don't get sunlight. That's one. Two, they're creating rain. And depending where you live, if you live in let's say you live in New England, or if you live in the South, which tends to be wetter and greener, and just you can add the water, the rain, and the chemtrail with the darkness, and you have a perfect environment for mold. You don't need to be a scientist. You don't need to be a scientist. You just know. By the way, Tennessee made chemtrails illegal, so they cannot fly chemtrails in Tennessee. Another thing that Tennessee did was they're passing a bill they cannot make it illegal, but they can at least they have to let the consumer know what they're eating, and it's called consumable, not consumable, what do they call that? Edible vaccines. So what does the edible vaccine mean? It means that they take a vegetable or fruit and it has vaccine inside. So you get your vaccine. So the vegetables that I got so far was potatoes, bananas, tomatoes, alfalfa. What is the other one? Tomatoes. Anyway, you can do your own research. I know it's definitely potatoes and bananas and tomatoes, alfalfa, and I forgot the other ones. But you can do your research and then just look for edible vaccines. So Tennessee, they're passing a bill where they say you cannot. They say they can't make it illegal because Tennessee wants to make it illegal. But according to I was listening to a hearing in Congress or whatever. They were saying that they can because the CDC, whatever, blah blah blah. So what they're doing is that they have to specify this fruit and this vegetable has vaccines. Anyway, just do your research. Or just look Tennessee banning chemtrails. What do you see? Tennessee bill with edible vaccines, and you see it. So I was thinking is there's something in the air, and you may have gotten some weird rash in your body. You don't know what it is. It's probably fungus. It's probably candida. Candida is a form of fungus. And so I came out with an idea. Putting the lamps, turning on the lamps for most of the day, because I gotta find you the article where it says that actually kill fungus, salt lamps, fungus and bacteria and all that shit. And it makes sense because what happened is the salt lamp is not going to kill the fungus, right? What happened is it absorbs the humidity, and without humidity, fungus cannot basically flourish. They cannot multiply. They cannot live happily. The fungus loves humidity and darkness. So take one away. Take the humidity. You cannot take the chemtrails away. Take the humidity. Also, you can put the lights very bright. Open all the blinds. Open all the shades. The only thing is, if it's hot outside in the summer, I would recommend you to make your house completely dark, at least from one side. The sun comes up in the east and goes down in the west. So the windows that are facing the east in the morning, close them. Make it really dark. I'm going to show you. They have these curtains they call darken. They are really, really dark. There's some chip in there, but you have to look at that it says 100% dark or something, darken. They're not expensive at all. And I got them all over my house. And I'll tell you something. During the winter, the last winter I didn't use the heat at all. Plus, they fixed the windows in here, so they're sealed. They seal all the windows, so that helps. Super help. If you got your own house, I would suggest you seal your whole house because, wow, what a difference. The other 3 years before, I was putting the heat. It was getting cold, but now that they seal the windows, no heat at all. I didn't put the heat at all. Now in the summer, I don't put the air conditioning either. I bought myself, and I did a video already, but I think it's in Rambo. I bought these fans that you gotta buy the fans that are for floods. Now don't buy a regular fan. Buy the fans for a flood. Well, what does it mean that? It's a fan that actually picks up the water. You understand? Picks up water. And so that way there's no humidity in your house. When you have no humidity, you start to get, and if everything is dark, it's like you were in a basement. And the basement is like 30 degrees colder than, upstairs. Sometimes even more. It's freezing. It's like having air conditioning. So that's my advice for you today is think about fungus could be affecting you. If you're overweight, if you're older, it's going to affect you even more. Eating sugar, processed sugar means anything that is sugar except for berries. If you eat berries, you get plenty of sugar in berries, and they're not so high in sugar. Plus, they're natural. What I'm buying too is I'm buying frozen vegetables and frozen fruit because they go bad so fast. Even in the fridge, and this fridge is brand new. It's like about 4 months old. I thought it was because the old fridge was too old. No, I got a new one and the same thing. I get mold. Even ginger. I bought ginger. I said, what the hell is ginger with mold inside the fridge? So what I'm doing now, I have a freezer. So I'm buying everything frozen, vegetables and fruit, because it's just a waste of money, right? The potatoes last a little longer, the same with the yams and the squash, they last longer. But onions, any other vegetables like that, like ginger, they go bad quickly, especially fruits. So my, and I got this picture from, what you call, this is AI generator. It's so funny because they put a spider. I got 4 pictures, in all 4 they have spiders. And look at the way they put the black mold. Black mold is really bad. And you see it in your and then I'm going to share with you a lot of stuff because you can have it in your ears, you can have it inside of you. This shit is really bad. They call it yeast or candidas. And have it in your house doesn't help. So I suggest, yes, you get the salt lamps. It's very good. Get the fan. Put in the air conditioner also helps to keep the house. Also, another thing that I keep the house cool, dry, mainly not cool, dry. Now, I also read that. I just lost my train of thoughts. Let me see. Yes, they were saying that if you want to avoid humidity in your house, and you definitely want to avoid humidity in your house, okay? By all means, even if you're like healthy, because before you know, you start to get sick. And this is really, really important for your lungs, everything. Mold is really bad, and it can happen, and you don't even see it. And you may see a little signs here in the bathroom. Get a dehumidifier. I have a dehumidifier. I have the salt lamps. Also, I found that I found a book. Okay, and I'm gonna give you the link. It's called The Lost Book of Herb Remedies. There's 2. There's The Lost Book of Herb Remedies and The Lost Book of Herbs. And in there it says that I never heard of that, but sounds. I mean, my investigation. It says in that book that Listerine is very good to kill mold, right? And I went, wow. So I went to check Listerine, and Listerine's, believe it or not, Listerine has very good, very natural ingredient. Doesn't have anything bad. I was like, wow, I thought Listerine was bad, because I remember hearing that, Listerine is bad. Actually, it's very good. Maybe it would have helped me a lot for many years if I would have used it. It kills bacteria in an instant in your mouth, and you can spray it in your bathroom. I was like, wow. So get the Listerine. I shouldn't say that, because then when I go to, every time I used to do it, remember back in the days, whenever I did a video about something, I went to look for it, I couldn't find them. I don't know what the hell. And it's not like nobody's listening to me. Maybe 5 people listening to me, but somehow I go and there's nothing. That's why before I do a video, I buy it. I buy it a lot. Anyways, so guys, Listerine is very good. I'm going to do a video about Listerine. So they say no plants. And so I put my plants outside. I didn't have too many plants, but I decided, because I love plants, But they said they create humidity in your house plants. So I said, okay, that's it for me. I only have one little plant, and I don't want to put it outside because she'll die. But yeah, just one. I used to have a lot of plants, and I gave them all away. I used to have big, so it was creating a lot of humidity in my house. So anyway, so yes, I'm still looking, Sherry. I'm still looking for the video. If not, I'll just do one. I'm looking for that video, and I found other videos, but I was looking for the video where I speak about bromelain, what bromelain does. You ever heard of fibromyalgia? Well, I'll talk about that. Anyways, have a good day.